Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. In 7000 BBY, a sect of the Jedi Order began to practice the Force in a way that began to defile life itself, and with their newfound powers, their descent into the dark side began, with promises of grandeur such as immortality and everlasting bliss. But the Jedi looked down upon their discoveries, instead seeing a group that began to abuse the very thing they sought harmony with. Their passion for their newfound knowledge led this sect to call upon their fellow Jedi to see reason and join them in learning more about how to control the Force. However, arguments between both factions boiled over, and conflict arose within the Order. The Jedi High Council stepped in and barred their views, branding them pawns of the dark side. Ajunta Paul, the leader of this sect of now christened Dark Jedi, in recompense for his banishment declared war on the Order, a brutal war that would come to be known as the 100-Year Darkness. Over the course of a century, the Dark Jedi, using their newfound knowledge, rose legions of monsters spawned from the dark side itself. One of Ajunta Paul's leading commanders, known as Sorceress Sin, became enthralled by darkness, creating firsthand some of the vicious monsters that slew her former brethren over the decades. But as the war dragged out, the Dark Jedi were ultimately outmatched and destroyed at the Battle of Korbos. The few remaining survivors of the Dark Jedi, such as Ajunta himself, Sorceress, Zozan, and several others, were exiled. However, in her time studying throughout the war, Sorceress Sin had discovered rumours about a mysterious group of beings known as the Sith, who had a unique affinity with the dark side itself. She compiled all of her knowledge, and in a bid to enact revenge on the Jedi and discover this power for themselves, Sorceress redirected their exiled starship towards the planet Korriban. They were greeted by a violent race of red-skinned humanoid creatures, led by their king, Hakagram Grouch. In a bid to subdue them, the Dark Jedi exiles learned of their power structure and easily overwhelmed the relatively primitive beings with their superior weaponry as well as their more attuned capabilities with the Force. Ajunta convinced Hakagram's Shadowhand into betraying his own king, and Ajunta declared himself the first Dark Lord of the Sith, taking their history, their knowledge and home as their own, creating the very first Sith Empire. It was the Jedi's compassion to spare all lives that allowed the creation of one of the most destructive religions in galactic history. Blinded by taking the moral high ground, even an act of kindness may have more severe repercussions, an oversight the Jedi would never truly understand. As the newly formed Sith began to expand, with Ajunta Paul at their helm, Sorceress Sin delved once again into the intricacies of the dark side, writing books and creating further monstrosities using its engulfing power. Sorceress became somewhat of an impromptu historian of the first Sith Empire, detailing their civil war with the Jedi to the creation of Sith palaces on Ziost. However, to bind her people together, she began the work of creating a unifying mantra for the newly created Sith Order. Throughout her time with the native Sith species and studying their history, Sorceress began to reflect on the limiting nature of the Jedi Code and how their Sith counterparts, naturally attuned to the dark side of the Force, lived their lives. As a result, Sorceress created a pendant code to rival the Jedi's own, a code that was determined to highlight living passionately, experiencing all emotions and feelings that it had to offer, taking power and mastering one's own strength no matter the cost. The first line, "Peace is a lie," was created directly to shatter the foundation of the Jedi ideal, and as such, the newly formed Sith Code was taken to heart by all of those that followed the ideal of the Sith, and it became the fragile unification for all Sith Lords for millennia. This video was a personal request by one of my Droidica tier patrons, so I just want to say thank you to him, and if you're interested in requesting a specific video yourself, consider supporting the channel at Patreon. Thank you so much for spending your time to watch this video, and don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, especially the notification bell. Come and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, join the Discord server, and I will see you guys in the next video. But until then, may the Force be with you. Always.